9 years in development. Hopefully, it will have been worth the wait. Thanks.
And have fun.
Let's be honest, you clicked on a video called A Basic Introduction to TF2. There's a good chance you're one of two types of people. You're either new to the game and have never heard of it, which means you've been living under a rock for years, but I guess the joke's on me for making a video specifically for people like you. Or you already know a few things about TF2 and are just going to be along for the ride throughout the video. I'm nowhere near the best at this game at all. So this video is going to be about the crux of TF2, or how to play the game in its plethora of characters. There are plenty of other much better videos about those topics. This video will be a simple introduction to the history of TF2 and its best and worst parts, along with the impact that it has made for the gaming community as a whole. If that's the type of video that you think you might like, then stick around. Grab a few snacks, a drink, maybe a friend or two, and try your best to understand the story I will be weaving for you today. If you enjoy this video, then I do hope you will like and subscribe. If you don't, I'll be a little sad, I guess. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, so I'll start the video now. Thank you, and good luck. You'll need it. In the year 2007, a game came out that would inspire millions. A game that would change the gaming community for years to come. I think you know what game I'm talking about. That's right, I'm talking about Sonic and the Secret Rings. This game revolutionized all future Sonic games from that point on. 2007 never experienced a game as good as this, and I don't think any game will ever live up to this for all of eternity. Oh, also, TF2. TF2 came out first appearing in the orange box, along with Portal and Half-Life 2, both also being amazing games. Shortly after, it was released as a standalone game for Windows. From then on, the game and its community began to grow and spread like a disease or a plague, but more upsetting and hat-themed. It was great. At that point, it felt like the game was pretty much at its peak when it came to content and just overall good old-fashioned fun. Updates, hats, events, and even more hats. Really an unbelievable number of hats. And I can confidently say that TF2 is one of the only games I've ever played where this is even allowed to happen.
As you can see, the rock really loves it.
This game is a powerhouse for fun and enjoyable experiences. I've had some of the most fun times playing video games just by joining random community servers. I mean, the game was truly thinking outside the orange box when it came to the content it was producing.
Oh, brother, this guy
At this point in TF2's history, there was absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, that could ever go wrong. If I had a nickel for every time a game called TF2 was neglected by the devs and had a bot problem, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice, right? In October 2017, the Jungle Inferno update would be released. This would sadly be one of the last major updates that would come to TF2 since the last 2 developers working on the game were the janitor and his pet plant, and over time one of them is going to shrivel, dry up, and die, having all the nutrients left in them be sucked back into the earth, while the other one is a fucking plant. At this point, it was practically foretold what would happen next. You've probably heard about it 1,000 times at this point, but the infamous bot problem took hold of TF2, making the game a living nightmare to play. It got to the point where playing community servers was the only real option as long as you didn't want to be domed in the head by a sniper bot singing California Girls at full blast. Which in hindsight is a pretty funny scenario saying it out loud, but that's not the point. What's even worse is the amount of time that it took to get fixed. Oops, did I say fixed? Newsflash, it isn't. But this video isn't really about that though, given the fact that if it was, we can be here all day, and there are many other videos that touch upon this topic, so you can check out those. But anyway, that's basically how the game and its community got here today. Obviously there's a lot more that happened and maybe could be put into a video in the future, but for now that's the summary of what happened up until this point. But that's just TF2's history by itself. So how about TF2's impact on everything else?
Next time, eat a salad.
Throughout the years, TF2 has become a staple for a lot of video games. The amount of time that the game and its community has been thriving since its initial release, soon to be 15 years ago, is incredible. It is still to this day placing number 6 of top games on Steam charts at the time of me recording this video. It was pretty apparent that TF2 would in turn affect other games over time, whether it be games attempting to replicate TF2's format or it be games trying to learn from things that TF2 succeeded and or failed at. Overwatch is a good example. It is obvious to see the parallels between both games, and I know that this well has been run dry at this point, but whether it be gameplay similarities or the characters in general, there is a noticeable number of things that are similar. It's gotten to the point where both communities are in a love-hate relationship, emphasis on the hate. Anyways, both games have their perfections and imperfections, and are good and bad in their own ways. Personally, I don't really mind either games, or which people prefer, but let's get something straight. If you choose Overwatch, I would not respect you.
Dad, I think I like Overwatch more than TF2.
Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
I know.
If you've ever been on the internet, which given the fact you're watching this video at all means you have, you've probably come across at least a few TF2 related things. TF2 memes are pretty much everywhere to the point where it's hard to have not seen one of the multitude of characters' faces or at least heard the amazing soundtrack the game has provided throughout the years. Team Fortress 2 has been around for almost the same amount of time that YouTube itself has existed, and there are many people around the world who saw TF2 and were influenced by it to create things that are still held to high degree by many people today. No matter how you look at it, TF2 has made an impact to not only its own community, but to many others outside of its own little world that it has created. And something tells me, even after TF2 is said and done, it will continue to influence games and people for years to come. Jesus Christ, man!
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
I still remember how much fun I had when I played TF2 for the first time. I wanted to find a good game to play without having to buy one and ended up coming across TF2. At the time I had already known a little bit about TF2, whether it be by word of mouth or the vast hellscape that we humans call the internet, so I didn't really go in blind. After playing it for the first time, I couldn't put it down. It was practically a drug for me, but somehow worse. When I didn't play the game for too long, I would start suffering from withdrawals and I would start to get irritable without it. Everything I looked at would be TF2, my family, my school, the unspeakable eldritch horror in the corner of my room. When my parents would ask me what I wanted for Christmas, I would say hat crates. I mean, my body at the time was 8% bones and 90% TF2 content. Jokes aside, I love TF2. The gameplay, the community, the inside jokes, all of it. Which makes it even harder to watch the game I love most being discarded by Valve. And I know that the community is still thriving and that Valve said that they were working to improve things, but at this point, it feels like the game is just going in circles, leaving the community to either chase the idea of hope and promises, or just stop playing the game altogether. How much longer do we have to repeat this cycle before it becomes too much for everyone who forged memories playing this game? The truth is, I don't know. Only one person knows, and that's Valve. We're all waiting on you, Valve, and to be completely honest, we've been waiting long enough. We made our move, and now it's time to make yours.